It was a slow night for pizza delivery driver Joe. He had only received a few orders all evening and was looking forward to heading back to the pizzeria and calling it a night. That was until he received a call from a customer who had just placed a large order for delivery to a remote location on the outskirts of town. Joe hesitated at first, but the promise of a large tip was too tempting to pass up. As he drove down the deserted roads, he couldn't shake the feeling that something wasn't right. The hairs on the back of his neck stood on end, and he kept checking the rearview mirror, but there was never anyone there. He finally arrived at the address, an old, dilapidated mansion on the edge of a large forest. The only lights in the house were flickering candles, casting eerie shadows on the walls. Joe parked his car and approached the door, pizza boxes in hand. He rang the doorbell and waited, but there was no answer. He tried the handle and found that the door was unlocked. Slowly, he pushed it open and stepped inside. The air was musty and stale, and the only sound was the soft creaking of the old wooden floors. He called out, but there was no response. As he made his way further into the house, he noticed that all of the furniture was covered in white sheets. Suddenly, he heard a soft whisper, like a voice in the wind. He spun around, but there was no one there. He continued through the house, searching for the customer who had ordered the pizza. But the deeper he went, the more he realized that something was not right. The whispers grew louder, until he could hear the sound of someone or something breathing heavily behind him. Joe turned to face the source of the noise and found himself face to face with a demon. The demon was tall and thin, with razor-sharp teeth and black eyes that gleamed with evil intent. It lunged at Joe, but he managed to dodge out of the way and run back towards the door. The demon chased him, its claws scraping against the wooden floors as it closed in on him. Joe finally reached the door and managed to escape into the night, but he knew that he had to go back and face the demon. He returned to the house, armed with a cross and a flask of holy water. The demon was waiting for him, but this time, Joe was ready. He held the cross high and sprayed the holy water, banishing the demon back to the underworld. Joe made it back to the pizzeria, shaken but relieved that he had managed to survive. He never spoke of his encounter with the demon, but from that night on, he made sure to check the addresses of all his deliveries before setting out on the road.